So, folks, just a rundown of a couple good things that have been happening recently. Number one is that earlier today, yet another judge has sided against ICE on behalf of the students who have been stripped of their student visas. To remind you all what the circumstances around this case or these cases are, basically what it seems like has been happening is that ICE has been going in along with people in the State Department and revoking student visas, like unilaterally, like just disappearing their status as students and nulling their visas and then showing up to arrest them and disappear them into the system until they get deported back to their country where they are from. And this has resulted in cancer scientists being disappeared on the eve of their PhDs, about to present their groundbreaking research on like cancer treatments. This has resulted in, people who were here applying for their student visas, or not their student visas, their citizenship, getting arrested and disappeared into the system. And in a really great sign of where our legal system is right now, a judge out of Atlanta has ruled that, at the very least, in the District of Atlanta, in this area, 133 international students must have their legal statuses reinstated as students by 5 p.m. today. Now, I have not seen an update on this story yet. It is after 5 p.m., but I've been looking around, haven't found an update on this story. But again, this is another example of how ICE is operating so far outside of its legal jurisdiction. It is effectively operating as a lawless organization, and by the time we get Donald Trump and his cohorts out of power, ICE must be completely and utterly dismantled. Okay? This needs to become like a mainstream position within the contingent of folks who are opposing Donald Trump. Like, I mean, and I do mean this. If Bill Kristol, Republican Governor Bill Kristol, can be calling for ICE to be dismantled and for apologies to be issued to people who've been calling for the abolition of ICE, if he can do it, anyone in this party, anyone in this coalition of folks opposing fascism can also call for this. Okay? So that's where we're at. Huge win. This has been, by the way, replicated in many different areas across the country. Judges siding against ICE in ordering student visas and student status to be reinstated. Wasn't Bill Kristol a governor? I thought he was. Am I confusing him with Mike Huckabee again? Or did he just, like, run for governor? Oh my god. Did I make that up? Oh, I might have made that up. That's my bad. Thank you for calling me on that. Yeah, he's a former chief of staff to Vice President Dan Quayle. That's my bad. Oh, man. Yeah, he's a Manhattan Institute, like, dipshit. And also a never Trump Republican. Damn. I want most of the ICE officials to be arrested. I agree. I think there needs to be a Nuremberg-like set of trials for these people. I can't believe the voice of Mike Wazowski was once a governor. Not a governor! Chief of staff to a vice president. But hey, a good thing happened. Second of all, folks, in response to being defunded massively by the federal government, it looks like NPR is going to war. They put out this the other day. We are hearing reports today that the White House intends to deliver a rescissions package to the Capitol Hill this week, instead of the week of April 28th as anticipated. The administration reportedly briefed congressional leadership last week on the package. House leadership has indicated it may vote on the rescissions package the week of May 5th instead of in late May, nearer the 45-day deadline. In preparation, we are moving up the timelines for all stakeholder communications. materials. NPR policy and representation team has drafted new templates for station and grass top stakeholder activation. We ask for a deadline of May 2nd for those letters to be delivered to lawmakers. Engage your board members, community advisory board, station volunteers, major supporters, community partners, business leaders, and emergency officials who work with your station, and ask them to communicate to Congress their opposition to rescission and support for your station. Please share with us when your letters are sent so that we can track which members of Congress receive them, and let us know if you receive responses on their position regarding rescission. Basically, NPR is mobilizing its entire viewership base, its entire bureaucratic apparatus in order to try and save itself, in order to try and oppose this fascist administration that is trying to clamp down on media critical of itself by defunding it. It is very clearly a clampdown on free speech. And when I say that, I mean it in like the sense of constitutionally protected free speech. Okay? And that is really bad, actually. We all should want NPR to be around. NPR, PBS.
Now, Mr. Rogers is certainly one of the best things that's ever happened to public television, and his Peabody Award is testament to that fact. We in public television are proud of Fred Rogers, and I'm proud to present Mr. Rogers to you now. Fred.
All right, Rogers, you got the floor.
Senator Pastore, this is a philosophical statement and would take about 10 minutes to read, so I'll not do that. One of the first things that a child learns in a healthy family is trust. And I trust what you have said, that you will read this. It's very important to me. I care deeply about children. My first children...
Will it make you happy if you read it?
I'd just like to talk about it, if it's all right.
Sir. Okay.
My first children's program was on WQED 15 years ago, and its budget was $30. Now, with the help of the Sears Roebuck Foundation and National Educational Television, as well as all of the affiliated stations, each station pays to show our program. It's a unique kind of funding in educational television. With this help, now our program has a budget of $6,000. It may sound like quite a difference, but $6,000 pays for less than 2 minutes of cartoons, 2 minutes of animated, what I sometimes say, bombardment. I'm very much concerned, as I know you are, about what's being delivered to our children in this country. And I've worked in the field of child development for 6 years now, trying to understand the inner needs of children. We deal with such things as the inner drama of childhood. We don't have to bop somebody over the head to make him to make drama on the screen. We deal with such things as getting a haircut, or the feelings about brothers and sisters, and the kind of anger that arises in simple family situations. And we speak to it constructively.
How long a program is it?
It's a half hour every day. Most channels schedule it in the noontime as well as in the evening. WETA here has scheduled it in the late afternoon.
Could we get a copy of this so that we can see it? Maybe not today, but I'd like to see the program.
I'd like very much for you
I'd
to
like
see.
to see the program itself, or any one of them, you see.
You know, like, it is nice to see, like, an elected official just genuinely have, like, an interest and be like, oh, yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Let's, I would like to know more about this. Thank you.
We made 100 programs for EEN, the Eastern Educational Network, and then when the money ran out, people in Boston and Pittsburgh and Chicago all came to the fore and said, we've got to have more of this neighborhood expression of care. And this is what I give. I give an expression of care every day to each child to help him realize that he is unique. I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. And I feel that if we in public television can only make it clear that feelings are mentionable and manageable, we will have done a great service for mental health. I think that it's much more dramatic that two men could be working out their feelings of anger, much more dramatic than showing something of gunfire. I'm constantly concerned about what our children are seeing. And for 15 years I have tried in this country and Canada to present what I feel is a meaningful expression of care.
Do you narrate it?
I'm the host, yes, and I do all the puppets and I write all the music and I write...
I actually didn't know that he did all the puppets and the music. That's charming as hell. Also, one idea, thank you for the $5 super chat. Mr. Rogers and Grandma were my functional parents away from home. Everyone must listen when he speaks. It's true. I do think that, like, Mr. Rogers holds the fuck up. He holds up. You know, like, the stuff he put together is great. Opinions on the LGBTQ movement? It's good.
Write all the script.
Well, I'm supposed to be a pretty tough guy, and this is the first time I've had goosebumps for the last 2 days.
Well, I'm grateful not only for your goosebumps, but for your interest in our kind of communication. Could I tell you the words of one of the songs which I feel is very important?
Yes.
It's so lovely. It's so lovely to see him bridge this divide. You know, it's so lovely to see. And I think because it's so rare to see, like, forthright and, like, positive connection and communication. More people need to be able to connect with one another like this.
This has to do with that good feeling of control, which I feel that children need to know is there. And it starts out, what do you do with the mad that you feel? And that first line came straight from a child. I work with children, doing puppets in very personal communication with small groups. What do you do?
Mr. Rogers would be really disappointed with today's society, but I don't think he'd be really disappointed with today's children. You know, I think there's a meaningful difference in that. You know, despite everything that happened during the Cold War, despite everything that happened, you know, during the Red Scare, the Lavender Scare, this is a man who never lost faith in children and, like, the possibility and goodness inside every child. And I think that is a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing to recognize the element inside of us that we should hope for. You know, our better natures, as it were.
With the mad that you feel, when you feel so mad you could bite, when the whole wide world seems oh so wrong, and nothing you do seems very right. What do you do? Do you punch a bag? Do you pound some clay or some dough? Do you round up friends for a game of tag or see how fast you go? It's great to be able to stop when you've planned a thing that's wrong and be able to do something else instead and think this song. I can stop when I want to, can stop when I wish, can stop, anytime. And what a good feeling to feel like this, and know that the feeling is really mine. Know that there's something deep inside that helps us become what we can. For a girl can be someday a lady, and a boy can be someday a man.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
That is why we must support NPR and PBS. Yeah, I mean, aside from the fact that like it directly thwarts the fascist attempt to destroy both those things. Donald Trump and the Trump administration is directly opposed to teaching children empathy, to teaching children how to deal with their feelings. It is in favor of teaching them that violence is the only way to express themselves. And it is in favor of fostering the worst impulses inside of all of us. And I think that that is especially one of the reasons we need to fight them tooth and nail when it comes to trying to control speech, like what happens on PBS or NPR or anywhere else in this country. Okay? I don't know. I just feel a lot of hope seeing NPR and PBS mobilize against this fascist threat. It is far later than it should have happened. But it is good that it is happening now. And I want to say that there is something else very good that is happening here. And that is coming out of local news here in Idaho. 6 men charged after forcibly removing woman from North Idaho Town Hall. Now, some of you may recall this event from last month-ish, or 2 months ago, perhaps. But essentially, no, actually last month. Essentially, during a town hall, a bunch of plainclothes folks, guys, came up to a woman in the crowd of a town hall in northern Idaho, grabbed her, restrained her, and pulled her out of the event. And it was a really, really scary. A lot of people were showing that video around on social media. Let's see if we can get that footage here.
Kootenai County.
Yeah, here you go.
Town hall turned chaotic Saturday as video shows Teresa Borenpole being forcibly removed from the audience after repeatedly interrupting speakers. Witnesses described the event hosted by Kootenai County Republican Central Committee as heated, with many audience members heckling the speakers.
It was presented that it was a town hall for our community.
But according to committee chairman Brent Reagan, the event rules were laid out clearly.
We are meeting in a public building, we have public officials, but this is actually a private event. If there's any disturbances where people can't maintain decorum, we have security here and you'll be escorted out of the building.
According to Reagan, all 450 attendees were warned twice about the rules. He says Borenpole interrupted speakers at least 7 times, was warned 3 times, and asked by Sheriff Bob Norris to leave 5 times before security intervened.
And, the story makes it seem like, oh, the sheriff was there and he was giving her a lawful order. Oops. Guess not, considering they were all charged. Here we go. Just 1 week after its recommendation, the Coeur d'Alene, and I know I'm butchering that, I don't care. City Attorney's Office has filed charges against 6 men involved in the forced removal of a woman from the Kootenai County Town Hall in February. As Idaho News 6 has reported, Teresa Borenpole was removed from the February meeting by men in plain clothes after repeatedly interrupting speakers. But on Friday, the Coeur d'Alene City Attorney's Office shared the names of the involved men and their charges. Paul Truett, battery, false imprisonment, security agent uniform violation, security agent duties violation. Russell Dune, battery, false imprisonment, security agent uniform violation, security agent duties violation. Jesse Jones, battery, false imprisonment, security agent uniform violation, security agent duties violation. Christopher Burge, battery, false imprisonment, security agent uniform violation, security agent duties violation. Alex Truett IV, security agent uniform violation, security agent duties violation, and Michael Keller, battery. And wow, wouldn't you know it, they also dropped the battery charge that was against Teresa Borenfall, because it turns out she was being illegally detained by a bunch of unidentified men. Okay? So the issue here, I'm not trying to gotcha you. What's the difference between the example you gave of those teens being loud and getting kicked out versus this incident, apart from forcibly removing them? What would happen if the teens refused to leave too? Well, then you could call cops and the cops would remove the teens. Right? Basically, that would be the case. In this particular instance, though, these people were claiming to have the authority of cops and were then unmarked in their duties as security officers, unidentified in their duties as security officers, physically assaulting this woman and then imprisoning her, which is, all of those things are crimes. There are ways you can do this legally. This is just not one of those. Yeah, these guys refuse to show badges. Exactly. No badges, no uniform. On top of that, again, battery, false imprisonment, etc. Yeah. And one of those guys was a sheriff, but he was off duty at the time and not actively part of, keeping the peace here. He abused his powers in this circumstance. I love easy answers to my long questions. It's all good. I think you could make the argument that those guys were trying to kidnap that woman. Well, that's exactly why I think that, we got this on video, so that's exactly why I think the judge, or not the judge, the panel that reviewed the incident recommended charges, It's because very clearly from that entire altercation, which was entirely recorded, it's pretty clear they're breaking several laws.
The GOP is in favor of imprisoning women, just as long as you do it the legal way.
That is true. That is very true. That being said, I hope it puts, I hope it comforts some of you to know that,
Riverboat Awooga.
I hope it comforts some of you that these people who were, this was going around social media and people were saying they're black bagging protesters. They're just scooping up people, and you don't know if that's cops that are plain clothes. You don't know if those are ICE agents. You don't know who those people are. And that's really, really scary. So I am really glad in this case that we are seeing some accountability happen here. And I think that is very, very important. I think the accountability here matters a lot. It indicates that we are maybe not quite as cooked as we might otherwise be. So there you have it. And I think these three things taken together are proof that good things can still happen. Let's go!
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is switching streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's